Now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day committed to picking the fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, self-defense, estate planning, tax planning, so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Our number one goals are to educate, entertain, enlighten, and most importantly, we want to engage you in an effort to help you win in any marketplace.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Now, how can you engage? The best way is to reach out to our Consumer Advocate Hotline, 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-670-7372. Don't forget our number. Make sure you bookmark our website, consumerqb.com. You can find a lot of information. You can see all of our links to our expert contributors at consumerqb.com. You can find their website information. You can actually watch a live stream of our show just by clicking on the live stream as well. You can also find that on WeBeam TV. And you can see our show contributors, testimonials, contact form right there. You can send an email directly through to us to make sure that we can answer any questions you may have. We want to be your consumer advocate and help you win no matter what you're facing. In studio today, we've got Mario Larrea. He's a mortgage expert here, Mutual Mortgage, MI Mutual Mortgage. Welcome back in, sir.
Hey, Brandon, great to be here. I'll be talking today about some of the upcoming changes that they're thinking is going to happen with the housing, the housing market and the supply and demand, and kind of changes that we're going to be seeing with that, and what effect it's going to have on values and things like that. So,
housing market trends with Mario Larrea, MI Mutual Mortgage. Yeah, and we got an interesting story here. Also, is talking about supply finally catching up with demand. I think this is more of a national story, but we'll talk about it a little bit. I think still in Tampa Bay, we're still somewhat lagging in the inventories category, but. Also, we have Joe Harrison. He's a martial arts expert, self-defense expert, owner of Harrison Martial Arts. Welcome back in, sir.
Thanks for having me, Brandon. I got a lot of great stuff to talk about today as far as self-defense, personal protection, just everyday intelligence that's going to help the average person to stay safer, to be more aware, and just to live a better life.
Awesome. I love it. That's what we're trying to do. We want to be that consumer advocate, help people understand more about their daily decisions, help make them just a bit more street smart, because I think if you're street smart, you understand that there's threats and you're more aware of your surroundings. You're able to find out both, in physically and fiscally. We're talking about ways that we can protect you and help you live a better life here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we often start off with a little bit of personal development. We call that Audible. Got Peyton Manning helping us with that Audible there. But today we wanted to talk about self-concept and confidence. When you have this reputation with yourself, it's important to make sure that your self-esteem is high and you're doing things to raise your self-esteem. And you want to make sure that you have no hesitation when it comes to accepting certain tasks and making sure that it's not external. You're not getting your self-esteem from external by looking at other people, judging other people. It's more of, a competition with yourself. How can I improve daily? What can I do on a daily basis to make myself better and to improve my living situation or my business situation, my family situation, leave a better legacy for my family? So one of the main things is you want to become the person who does the right thing and be congruent. This way you're not wrestling with decisions in your mind. How should I answer this? How should I respond? The best yardstick is to do the right thing. So there's your 2-minute drill from the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. Let's go ahead and give a shout out to Brio Tuscan Grill at the International Plaza. The official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show is Brio Tuscan Grill. We have a great time heading over to lunch afterwards and having some fun, eating a great meal over at Brio Tuscan Grill. It's an Italian menu. You've got signature drinks, awesome wait staff, cozy atmosphere, bringing the pleasures of a Tuscan country villa to Tampa. We invite you to make your reservation today and try the Italian menu at Brio Tuscan Grill for the best Italian restaurant dining experience. All right, we're here in studio going to help you win in any marketplace. Let's go ahead and bat and lead off today with Mario Larrea. Larrea. He's a mortgage expert here, MI Mutual Mortgage. So what are you seeing out there, Mario?
This thing we're going to be talking about today is the supply is finally going to start catching up with the demand. And I mean, we've been seeing this all year and even some of last year. It's tough for people to get contracts and accepted on homes. I mean, there's just so many people trying to buy as opposed to homes out there. And, one of the big things we've had problems with is the lack of new construction. They were having problems with labor shortages and stuff. People got out of it during the crash and, ended up in different careers. So there's been, not a lot of building going on, and they're saying that that's going to increase. And, I even read something the other day that part of the other part to this is it's very tough to come across construction loans right now. It's one of those things that there's very few companies that do them. They're kind of a pain when they do them, but Fannie Mae is actually looking to get into the construction loan side of things, which is going to open things up a lot once they're covering those loans. So they've started talking about it. So if that does go through, you're definitely going to see a huge increase of the homes being built. It's just going to make things easier all around for everybody, the builders, the buyers, everybody involved.
Yeah, you got to have the income, you got to have the money to be able to, fund these projects.
Yep.
And it's a challenge, especially in Tampa Bay. I mean, a lot of times we talk about stories that are based on national numbers, macro economy. When we have an article here that's kind of signifying that. It says, finally supply finally catching up with demand, as they're talking about here, and essentially what they're talking about is that it says once we start to hit an inventory turnaround, there's plenty of demand in the market. Hale says, although for the housing inventory is expected to stay tight during the first quarter of the year, reaching a 4% year-over-year decline in March. If it increases as predicted by the fall, it will be the first net inventory gain since 2015. So markets such as Boston, Detroit, Nashville, all of which recently made it into the monthly list of the nation's hottest real estate markets, may see inventory recover first. So the story is kind of saying that, in 2018, January, February, March, we're going to see some of that inventory increasing because of a decline. And it was interesting. I was reading the Tampa Bay Realtor magazine before I came in, and it was interesting to see that we are at we're closing less deals in January of this last year versus a year ago. So there's less inventory moving. But I think a lot of it is that it's going to dictate on what the Fed does with the rates. It's also going to be dictated by the labor force, and could potentially be affected by some policy.
Yeah, definitely. And, we're starting to see the rates go up right now. I mean, they're still obviously at historical lows, but, they've been talking about this for a while, and now it's, you're starting to see it's this slow, steady increase in the interest rate. So, it's definitely going to be a lot different this coming year. Another thing, too, that actually is a really good sign is that it looks like the conventional loan limits are going to be increased, too. So whereas, if you went above 424,100, anything above that, you're in jumbo loan territory, which is a whole nother ballgame. You're looking at higher interest rates, higher down payments. The requirements for qualifying are much more difficult. So they're saying they're going to be increased to 453,100, which, it's a good sign, too, because it looks like from Fannie Mae's point of view that homes are going to continue to appreciate. So, it's going to make lending a little bit more easily available on those higher end ones. And, it's just kind of shows what they think is actually going to go on, too, is kind of matching up with what we see.
Yeah, and here's what they're talking about in this article as well. Millennials started to come into their own. By the way, if you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. I'm the host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of Platinum MVP Realty, and we're talking with Mario Larrea. He's a mortgage expert here in Tampa Bay with MI Mutual Mortgage. But game changer number 2, millennials starting to come into their own. So what they're saying is that now, even though some of them still have the student debt, as the largest generation in U.S. history reaches that sweet spot in their 20s and 30s, cities, they're starting to settle down and starting families. They're particularly motivated to buy because they're it goes into time of the income. Their income's increasing, and they say at the end of the article it says they don't want to wait too long because mortgage rates are expected to reach 5% at the end of 2018 due to stronger economic growth, inflationary pressure, and monetary policy normalization.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you see it now. I mean, like I was saying, they have gone up a little bit. They're not to that 5% range yet, but I mean, just with the decline in unemployment is one of the big things that's affecting the interest rates right now, which is great for the nation. Not so great for us on the mortgage side and, people purchasing. But, that's why it's real important. Get out there now. You can obviously, with the rates being lower, you're going to be able to afford more house now than you will a year from now, not to mention the homes are going to be, appreciating. So, the home you buy today is going to be worth a lot more in a year, but the other part to that is you're going to be paying a lot more in a year because you're going to be paying higher interest on the money you borrow.
Right. Yeah, and it's still, again, relatively low interest rates. You talk about compared to, the 7 and 8%, 9% that you might see in the past. Game changer number 3, as the article continues, Southern homes are selling like crazy. So it says when it comes to home sales growth, bet on Southern cities to beat national averages, which is what we talk about a lot, especially here in Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, Bradenton, Sarasota. We're especially looking at, they're talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma, Little Rock, Arkansas, Dallas, Charlotte area is expected to see 6% growth compared to 2.5% nationally. And, of course, Tampa Bay is right up there as well. It says the South has been luring corporations and individuals to its balmy cities with its low cost of real estate and living in general, resulting in strong economic growth, strong household growth, the attitude towards builders, and a stage accelerating a boom as well. So they're talking about the people want to be here.
Yeah, the other thing too is we don't have the state income tax either. So your salary or the money you make goes a lot further here than it does if you're living up north. So that's another thing that's a real big deal. Another market I heard that's really supposed to boom next year is the Lakeland area. It makes sense. It's conveniently located right in between Orlando and Tampa, but
that's right.
The prices are still pretty low in Polk, but this whole area is really doing well, and you can see it by the lack of inventory right now. There's a lot of people moving down. There's a lot of people trying to purchase. So, we're going to be doing real well here in the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, more from our expert contributors here. Mario Larrea in the house, mortgage expert. If you need anything related to mortgage, we would urge you to reach out to him. It's a great time to refinance, maybe eliminate that private mortgage insurance. Equity is at its highest growth in years, as well as, of course, purchase loans, VA, conventional FHA loans. Mario Larrea is your guy to go to for that. And also coming up, Joe Harrison. He's a martial arts expert, self-defense expert, and owner of Harrison Martial Arts. So stay with us. Don't touch that dial. When we come back, we're going to be getting into our Name That Tune segment. Today's songs are from Grammy Award winners, Songs of the Year, and more from our expert contributors. So stay with us. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation, visit Pasco County, Florida.
Listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty, and I'm a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay. We're helping our sellers profit more on the sale of their real estate properties. We're selling properties very quickly. Inventory is very short right now, so if you're a seller out there thinking about selling, we would love to talk to you. I've got a couple of hot listings I want to let you know about. We've got 3610 Casablanca Avenue in St. Pete Beach, 3-bedroom, 2 and 1/2 bath. This is a duplex, a great opportunity. It's a rare find just north of the Don Cesar Hotel, just south of the Hotel Zamora. We reduced this property over $20,000 today, over $25,000, $599,000. Rare find of a duplex on the St. Pete Beach, and a beautiful area here in Tampa Bay. Also, another hot property in Clearwater. This is 1024 Mandalay Avenue in Clearwater. 2-bedroom, 2-bath property, $749,000. Owner motivated here, and it's a beautiful property. You've got pavers all the way around the home. You've got beautiful tropical feel, and it's a very popular neighborhood in that north side of Clearwater Beach. $749,000. Great buying opportunity here in beautiful Tampa Bay. All right, we're back here in the studio. We're going to help you win no matter what you're facing out there. And let's give a shout out to our official cleaning partner. It's Two Maids and a Mop. Two Maids and a Mop is our official cleaning company. They offer excellent service. A clean house helps you feel better, and it's going to put you into a better mood. One thing I really love about Two Maids and a Mop is they offer free cleaning to cancer patients, and your approval rating matters. Your approval rating is based on the pay rate for the staff, is based on your evaluation. Check out Two Maids and a Mop. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. They're our official cleaning partner, the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we're back here in studio. We're going to help you win no matter what you're facing out there. Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region's #1 consumer advocate program here in Tampa Bay. We've got Mario Larrea in the house. He's a mortgage expert, MI Mutual Mortgage. Joe Harrison as well, a self-defense expert, martial arts expert as well, and he's the owner of Harrison Martial Arts. All right, Joe, what are you seeing out there, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm seeing a lot of just confusion and misunderstanding when it comes to martial arts in general. And what I'm going to talk about first is trying to just basically clear the air with the perception of martial arts, okay?
Yeah.
Because there are different branches of martial arts. You've got the competitive sport, you've got the combative sport, you've got spiritual, you've got the mental, you got so many different branches of martial arts that a lot of people don't understand that they exist because they're mostly exposed to the combative and competitive sport branches of martial arts.
Mr. Miyagi back
Absolutely,
in the 80s,
all that,
the
right?
Karate Kid.
So here's one of the saddest truths that I'm going to tell everybody on the radio right now. Since martial arts was introduced into the United States in the early 1940s, it has only improved by less than 1% in the last 80 years.
Based on what?
Just based on the fact that it's not being presented in a way that is essential to daily life. Cars are essential to daily life. Our phones, food, water, all these things, things that are essential to daily life. Martial arts is not being presented and delivered to the population that gets people to perceive that it is essential to daily life. Even though we have all these, broad daylight stabbings and shootings and, different types of violence and things like that, we are still not just there yet in terms of perceiving it as a daily essential thing. So what I'm going to talk about are some of the brutal truths about martial arts. I'm going to kick over some sacred cows too. Okay. Less than 7% of the entire United States population actually participates in martial arts. Okay. To give you an idea what that number is, that's less than 17 million people total. There are over 321 million people in the United States. So less than the number of people that live in the state of Florida participate in martial arts out of the entire nation.
Wow.
And the reason why I feel like that's extremely startling is because I feel like, well, I guess it's no wonder that some of these things happen to us because so many of us are so mentally unprepared.
Yeah. And
not just physically. I mean, mentally, we can't identify anything.
Yep.
Because that's what martial arts teaches you, how to identify certain behaviors, attacks. I learned how to teach you how to defend certain things. There's a lot of things that it teaches you. And because there's an absence of that understanding and education, there's things that we just don't know how to do.
Yeah.
And so then you think about, that basically means 93% of America is completely and totally unprepared when it comes to any type of attack, whether it's mental, emotional, or physical.
Yeah, nowadays you got active shooters.
Absolutely, right. So, and that's because we keep turning away. We turn our minds and bodies and things like that completely away from violence. And the more and more we do that, the more and more we become unfamiliar on how to handle it when it does, land in our laps.
Yeah.
And so, and my biggest gripe with the martial arts community is, once again, I said it before, is the way it's being presented, is the way that's being delivered to the public. If it was delivered to the public in a way that was very essential to our everyday life, it would be treated with a much different level of respect on an everyday basis.
I think it's capitalism.
It's completely that.
It's capitalism. It's
right.
after school activities.
Exactly.
The babysitter. Yes. They're going to buy them a gi and say that they learn karate.
Right. That's exactly right. And so every time somebody's, if I tell them I do martial arts, they're like, "Oh, you do karate?" I'm like, "No, karate is like one system on the planet."
Yeah.
That comes from Okinawa, Japan. I'm talking about martial arts. I do a lot of martial arts.
Yeah.
You learn 6 subjects in school. So it's like if you walk up to a high school student, you say, "Oh, so you do math?" He's going to say, "No, I do math, science, English, reading, writing." You know what I mean? So it's martial arts. It covers a full spectrum of things that you learn. So it's unfortunate that the public has been completely programmed to think that the only thing that exists out there is the few things they've ever seen, which is karate, taekwondo, MMA, jiu-jitsu, and so on. There's so much more.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the variations, because I've trained with you and
Sure.
had a great time over there.
Yep.
I mean, you're teaching everything from how to properly handle a firearm to a knife to what's the scarf?
Oh, the sarong or the
sarong.
Yep.
Yeah, flexible weapons.
Yes.
You can even use a magazine rolled up as a weapon.
Yes.
I mean, so this would be a great opportunity for you to reach out, Joe Harrison Martial Arts, and find out more about how he can help you with your family's needs for self-defense. You do classes, you do private individual one-on-one training.
Right. I've got two workshops coming up. The first workshop is actually what you were just talking about, which is concealed weapons training. And in this particular course I'm teaching, not a workshop, it's a course. It's a 6-week long course, and each week you're learning a different weapon or tool. In the first week it could be impact weapons, and the second one is edged weapons. The third one is flexible weapons. The fourth, each week you're learning, you're getting an introduction and some training into these different types of weapons, so that you can train familiarity in your brain on what it's like to actually handle these things.
Right.
So then that means you're going to be less afraid.
Because it's all repetition.
It's all repetition. You got to get involved. So this is an opportunity for people to come in and really get involved on a very safe level and a very educational level to understand, well, I have knives in my house.
Yeah.
So if I have to use them, if there's a home invasion, if I can't get to my gun,
Yep.
Or things like that. So, and flexible weapons is everything that we wear every day. Our clothing, a lady's purse, a man's tie, things like that. So you're going to learn how to manipulate different objects of that nature, flexible nature, and so on and so forth with edge weapons and impact.
When is that coming up, Joe?
That's going to be from January 11th to February 15th. So it's once every Thursday for 2 hours. So you come in. It's a 6-week course. At the end of it, you're going to get a certificate of completion. It's not a certificate that you actually are completely well versed in it, but it gets you started.
Yeah,
like and I think it's going to be a really important course for what's going on in today's society. The second one is the expandable baton workshop. I'm sure everybody's seen like an expandable baton. Law enforcement wears it, military, executive security. It is legal in Florida. So I'm going to be teaching that because that represents any weapon or tool of like size and shape, which is an impact tool. So that's why I'm going to be teaching that. That's going to be only on one day, Saturday, January 20th, from 10 to 2 p.m. And that's going to be at the studio.
January 20th, 10 to 2 p.m. All right,
Correct.
so you got a couple of opportunities. January 20th, you got a January 11th workshop starting up Harrison Martial Arts. Hit us up on the website, consumerqb.com. Just submit the form. We'll make sure we get all the information over to you, consumerqb.com. You can submit an email form, and we'll get you in contact with Joe Harrison, Harrison Martial Arts. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. We got our Name That Tune coming up. We got our Feel Good Story of the Week, and more from our expert contributors, Mario Larrea, mortgage expert, and Joe Harrison, self-defense expert, martial arts expert here in Tampa Bay. Stay with us. Don't touch that dial. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. Listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty, and a top listing agent in Tampa Bay. Got a couple of hot listings I want to let you know about here. We've got a beautiful property in New Tampa, and we just reduced it significantly. It's 10217 Timberland Point Drive in Tampa, Arbor Green subdivision, beautiful property, and we just reduced down to $329,000. And it's a gorgeous updated property, over 3,900 square feet here, and it's a great opportunity to purchase in a gated community with a lot of community features as well. Timberland Point Drive, beautiful property, as well as in the old northeast section of St. Petersburg, 215 12th Avenue Northeast in St. Petersburg. This is the old northeast section. It's an opportunity to design your own style of home. This property is still in process and it's not completed yet. $1.19 million buying opportunity here, over 3,688 square feet, 215 12th Avenue Northeast, St. Petersburg. Compliments of PlatinumMVPRealty.com. Check out PlatinumMVPRealty.com for these beautiful listings. Check out our book on Amazon, Become the MVP in Your Industry by Surfing the Radio Waves. We would love for you to check it out, buy a copy, and leave a nice review. We'd greatly appreciate that. Of course, any questions you have, feel free to reach out. ConsumerQB.com, ConsumerQB.com. And let's give a shout out to Signature Massage and Facial Spa in Tampa. Are you looking for a place to get a massage or a facial at an affordable price, but without having to sign up for a membership? Look no further. At Signature Massage and Facial Spa, they offer a 1-hour Swedish massage for $49.95. Always no contracts. Come in early during the early bird hours and receive an additional $10 off. For those muscles and knots that need extra work, ask about getting a deep tissue or sports massage. And if skincare is what you're looking for, they have amazing facial and microderm packages. Check out Signature Massage and Facial Spa, 11248 West Hillsborough Avenue in Tampa, or call 813-925-8898, 925-8898 to schedule an appointment. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. You're going to get 10% off of your first service over at Signature Massage and Facial Spa in Tampa. And also, separate note there in Palm Harbor, we got an opportunity for you to do reach out to one of our partners, Total Temple Float. They've got a great, really cool opportunity. If you haven't seen that, it's one of these tanks with the salt. You got thousands of pounds of salt in there. You float. It's a flotation therapy. You can have the light on like it's on here. If you're watching our television stream show, the stream, you can check it out. You can do it like that, or you can be in complete darkness and just do meditation and incantations, prayer, whatever you're into. Pretty cool. Temple Float. My friend over there is Ron. Let him know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you if you go and visit him in Palm Harbor. He's right off of US 19, just south of Alderman. All right, here we are in studio helping you win. We've got Mario Larrea, mortgage expert with MI Mutual Mortgage. We've got Joe Harrison in the house as well, martial arts expert, self-defense expert as well. So back to Mario. Let's talk again, Mario. When we look at the economic conditions, there's a lot of, it's this time of year too, and the way that the economy is improving, there's a lot of realtors, a lot of new realtors getting in the market. There's a lot of new mortgage folks getting in the game and trying to make their space. But, there's bad advice out there. There's a lot of bad advice. What are some of the common misnomers and things that you're seeing and that you're hearing out there?
Well, one of the things that I get a lot, and I've brought this up before, is, I'll talk to people who, they see advertised rates are quite a bit lower. Mortgages they're just like people, really. I mean, every individual situation is going to be a little bit different. So, right. Not to say that those rates aren't available, but they may not be available to everybody. So depending on, basically what a lot of these companies do, and I mean, it makes sense. If you're going to advertise the absolutely best program and rates that you have available. So, you're looking at somebody with a $300,000+ loan amount who has 50% equity or, a 780 credit score. It's going to be a lot better interest rate than if you're putting 5% down, you have a 620 credit score, and it's a $100,000 loan. I mean, they're in this to make, all the lenders are in this to make money. So if you figure, let's say you get a 4% on a $100,000 loan as opposed to a 4% on a $300,000 loan, the lender's making a lot more money. So they're going to give you a little bit of a break. And mortgages are all risk based as well. So if you have a lower credit score, it's riskier. If you don't have as much equity, it's riskier. So you're gonna see a little bit higher interest rates on those types of things. But one of the things you pointed out, and you and I have been in the industry for a long time, so I've seen this come and go. Or there's an influx of mortgage people out there right now, and real estate. And the problem is most people don't know enough about mortgages and real estate to know if the person they're talking to doesn't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So I get that a lot. Like, I'll get somebody who, they'll come to me and they'll be, for instance, a self-employed person. Well, I'm an expert at reading tax returns as it pertains to mortgage underwriting. Most of these new people don't know, and a lot of even people who are seasoned don't know how to read tax returns. So I'll come back and tell somebody, hey, you don't qualify. Well, this person at this said I do. All right, well, I can only tell you exactly what's going to happen. And, you see stuff like that come back, and they're like, you know what, you're right. But so, do a little bit of research on who you're working with. I mean, it's always good to go with a local company. Real estate, is typically more local, like the realtors. But mortgages, you see a lot of these like call centers, people that are out of state. You really have no clue who you're dealing with.
Right.
And, it's pretty easy for them to just, say, hey, yeah, you're approved, tell you whatever you want to hear. And then if it falls out in a few weeks, no big deal. They're not going to see you. They don't really care.
No accountability.
Yeah, they're going to throw it against the wall, see if it sticks. Whereas you come to me, I'm here local. Your business matters to me. I mean, I'm a business owner here in the area. So if, I want to make sure if I tell you something, it's going to happen. And I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste the realtor's time. So if you're not going to qualify, I'm going to tell you right then and there, hey, do this and this and this, and maybe a few months down the road, now we can look at something. But, do your background, do some work on your end, check the person out, see if you get a realtor that refers you. That's always good because you have somebody in the industry who's dealt with them a while,
right? Who
they know they're doing this day in and day out. So referrals are a real good source of the way to pick somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. Mario Larrea, mortgage expert, MI Mutual Mortgage. Here to my right, Joe Harrison to my left, martial arts expert. So yeah, so to echo kind of what you're saying there, Mario. Yeah, there's a lot of bad advice. There's a lot of commission based advice, especially with the companies that are out there. They don't have the accountability. They're working over the internet. They're working on who knows? They might be working out of their garage in their underwear. You never know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
So it's
the other thing that's big is you're starting to see a lot more of these automated mortgages where it's all online. That may work for a very small percentage of people.
Right.
It's real cut and dry. But if it's not, and the problem with that is people don't really know what's cut and dry and what's not. But if you're putting it into a computer, there's a good chance you may not be putting the exact information that you need, and then you get a pre-approval kicked out, and it actually goes into underwriting, and you're done. So you always want to have a live person you're dealing with because there's different situations, different credits, different. The way people get paid is different. There's a lot of different scenarios, different property types, different lending programs. So there's a lot of variables there that a computer can't go through and actually distinguish what's going to be the best route for you.
It's similar to trying to do your taxes on your own as well. If you're playing that computer game, you're plugging in numbers. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you couldn't plug in. What what the limits are. That's why we have Jake Alexander Financial that handles all of our CPA accounting type work. So it's a similar situation.
Yeah, and I used to work for a huge tax company that they did mortgages as well, and I think the tax people just take like a weekend course or something, and then they're tax experts. So you really need to go to somebody who is a professional too.
Yep.
So that's kind of the thing, and you see it with mortgages. I mean, a lot of people can just go take the broker class. It's not very long. The questions that are on the test don't really, I mean, if you come out of there, you don't know how to structure a loan.
No.
You might know some of the laws and stuff like that, but it's not really going to help you actually do your job. So just because somebody's licensed doesn't mean that they actually know what they're doing.
It's about legal mostly.
Yeah.
Most of the licensing. So, so Mario Larrea, mortgage expert here. We want you reaching out. Get that pre-approval. If you're going to purchase a real estate, maybe reduce that PMI, get rid of PMI. A lot of equity back in homeowners, especially in the Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, this market where we're at, the Gulf Coast, the whole Gulf Coast of Florida. So Joe Harrison Martial Arts, let's touch on those workshops again before the break. So we've got a workshop coming up, concealed weapons shop.
Concealed weapons. That's actually a concealed weapons training course. So it's a 6-week-long course that's going to really, really educate people on the most common now, not all of them, but the most common self-defense tools and weapons that either you might already have or you might encounter.
January 11th?
Right, January. It's actually from January 11th to February 15th. It's once every Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. So it's a 2-hour-long course once every Thursday for 6 weeks.
And then you got the other one coming up as well.
The other one is the Expandable Baton Workshop. I wanted to call that one an Impact Weapons Workshop, but I decided to go with the Expandable Baton because they're easy to get, they're cheap, but they're very effective, and there's a lot of things you can do with them if you decide to carry one either on yourself or in your automobile or whatever. But I think it's really important to learn these different types of tools so that you're not, unfamiliar with what you need to do if you encounter one or have to use it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So check out Joe Harrison Martial Arts. He's on Facebook as well, Harrison Martial Arts on Facebook. He's got some really cool events coming up. I've worked with him personally, and he's very good at what he does. He takes the time to explain the different types of scenarios, the moves, the structures that you're doing. Conveniently located in Clearwater for the time being, looking at some moves in the future there to St. Pete. But so stay with us here. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. When we come back, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have that Name That Tune segment where we got today's list features Grammy Award winners for Song of the Year, and we also have our Feel Good Story of the Week and more from our expert contributors. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Hey, this is Jarek Robbins. You are listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Please do what it takes to learn all that you have to live the life you want to live it fully, and find a way to give it by paying it forward to others.
Get in touch with Brandon online at ConsumerQB.com. Cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty. Check out PlatinumMVPRealty.com. You can do a MLS search there. You can see our listings, and you can create a market report at PlatinumMVPRealty.com. And Platinum MVP Realty is our premier sponsor with the Consumer Quarterback Show. And every week we have a little fun with you. We're going to do some of that Name That Tune here.
Ladies and gentlemen, Name That Tune.
All right, so we've got Grammy award-winning songs of the year here. So we got 5 of the best. 1985 coming at you right here. Song number 1 from 1985.
What's love got to do with it?
Yeah.
Tina Turner?
That's it.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was fast.
Everybody remembered her because of her legs. She always had fantastic legs.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Number 2, 1997.
That's Eric Clapton.
That's Eric Clapton. What's the name of the song?
I Can Change the World.
Yeah,
Change the World. That's right. Good tune. Good tune. These are all Grammy winners right here.
I haven't heard from him in a while.
Grammy Award winners. All right, here we go. Song number 3.
Is that Seal?
Yes, it is.
Nice. I think that was from the Batman movie. Remember that?
I think it is, yeah.
Did you get the name or just get the artist?
I don't remember
the name.
Kiss from a Rose.
That's it.
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Easy for me to say, right? I got to listen.
Yeah.
All right, 2002. Here we go.
I know this song, but
It was from Set It Off, I think.
man, it always sounds like one of. It's not TLC because that's. Who is it?
Alicia Keys.
Keys. That's it.
Fallen.
Keys, man.
All right, here we go. 1984.
Oh, that's Sting.
It's actually a different name
Police.
here, but
Yeah, right.
Police.
Of course, yep.
What's the name of the song?
I'll be watching you.
Nope.
No.
Every breath you take.
Yeah,
Every
okay,
breath
there
you
you go.
take. That's right. Every breath you take. Grammy winners. Some good tunes right there.
Yeah.
Anthony put a good list together for us. All right, so back here in studio helping you win. We always also have a positive segment, so we're going to tell you something good here.
Tell me something good.
So Central Florida businessman creates job board for displaced Puerto Ricans. Central Florida businessman is trying to connect displaced Puerto Ricans with companies who are currently hiring. Latino Jobs Online helps displaced Puerto Ricans find jobs, and their experience, they're educated, they're working in Puerto Rico until the storm hit. They just don't have a job right now, said Robert Newland, founder of job board Latino Jobs Online, who is also originally from Puerto Rico. His office in Lake Mary, Newland thought about how he could help those from the island. He said, we have low unemployment. They're looking for jobs. Can we put together and make this bilingual, he thought. And the answer to his question turned out to be creation of an online job board, Latino Jobs Online. They're getting jobs from Tampa, Fort Lauderdale, Delray Beach, Clearwater, Jacksonville, and that is good. Job openings in other states as well. So there's your feel-good story of the week, helping some of the folks down south recover from the hurricane. What's the latest with that? Have you guys heard any kind of stories?
Haven't really heard too much on what's going on. I mean, it seems like things are back to normal after that, but
I would doubt it. I mean, they were pretty bad.
Yeah,
they got hit hard. I don't know if they're normal, but it's going to be a long time.
It's going to be a lot better.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. You meant for
Puerto Rico.
I'm sorry. I thought you meant here. Yeah.
Puerto
I know
Rico
I know it's still bad. I mean, I've got friends over there, and they're telling me that it's barely even moved an inch in terms of progress and all that.
Wow.
It's really, at least in their perspective. I mean,
plus their government. I mean, their financial situation wasn't too great to begin with, and then you get that. It's,
talk about getting kicked when you're down. I mean, I really empathize with those people.
Yeah, they had a lot of economic hardships.
Yeah, they were about to file bankruptcy, I think, prior to this. So
wow,
right.
So we helped them out somewhat, hopefully. And I know we saw some stuff where we talked about on the show as well with Elon Musk. I believe some of his solar technologies helping out with the water. I believe some of the relieving of the water. But so Puerto Rico, man. Prayers are for you. Hoping that you're recovering. Of course, we had a bad hurricane season last year. Everything from Texas, Florida, South Florida. Some folks down in South Florida still dealing with a lot of the fallout from that as well. But all right, let's go ahead and jump into our lightning round.
The lightning round.
I am so good at lightning rounds.
All
I
right.
majored in lightning
Top
rounds.
tips, nuggets of advice, words of wisdom. Mario Larrea, mortgage expert.
if you're looking for a mortgage, go with somebody local. Do your research online. See what their reviews are. If they have negative ones, if you ask a realtor or somebody in the industry, for a referral, and it's a lot safer than just going online and finding an online company. You're going to be treated a lot better, and typically the people you're dealing with are a lot more knowledgeable.
Absolutely, and there's the accountability factor. Let's do a rent versus own analysis as well. Anybody out there listening that is currently paying rent and you'd like to get into home ownership, you're just not sure yet, how much down payment you need, your credit scores. Let's do a rent versus own analysis. We're going to break down the numbers of currently on the left side. It's going to say, here's what you're paying in rent. Here's what you could be paying in a mortgage where you're building up your own equity instead of paying down your landlord's mortgage, where you're also able to take advantage of tax write-offs, incentives. You're leaving a better legacy for your family. So reach out. Why don't you text the word rent and the amount of rent that you're paying to our hotline, 813-670-7372. Real simple. Just text the word rent and the amount of rent that you're paying to our Consumer Advocate hotline, 813-670-7372. And we're going to help you out. We're going to get you in touch with Mario Larrea. He's going to put you into a program that's going to say, hey, here's a rent versus own analysis. It's going to show you how much you're paying in rent, paying your landlord's mortgage, breaking down his monthly payment for him, rather than building up equity on your own. And you can't have the cool parties either sometimes if you're renting. So rent versus own analysis. Reach out, 670-7372, 670-7372, and you can also contact us at consumerqb.com. All right, top tips, nuggets of advice. Joe Harrison Martial Arts.
Yeah, so I guess my best advice is going to come from a recent Tech Insider video that was done by a lady named Gabrielle Rubin. And she put up this video. It was how to defend against a chokehold, and she got a lot of backlash out of it. Oh. And what people didn't understand is, despite whether or not she was teaching the technique right or wrong, she was teaching it online and on a video. And so my best advice is, it doesn't matter who they are or how good they say they are or what their advice is, you can't learn to swim on dry land. Right. You have to get involved. Don't try to learn something like that off of YouTube. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. You got to go into a place where there's a professional instruction with very high level education and get involved and learn how to do it properly and correctly.
That's right.
With different types of people. Because when it comes to a choke, especially a rear naked choke, if you got a guy who's like 6'4", I can't even reach his neck.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how good I know how to do the choke. I can't reach him to begin with.
So what do you reach the other thing?
You have to, right?
You reach whatever you can, right?
Exactly. So that's my best advice would be. And the other thing is, there's no amount of good advice that can help conscious ignorance. So first, you have to be willing to face the fact that you are ignorant in certain areas of life and personal protection, even finance, and so many different areas. Face that first, accept it, admit it, and then you can move on from there and become a much better human being and person for everybody.
It's just like you were saying earlier too, Joe. It's the repetition.
Yes.
Repetition is the mother of all skill.
Yes.
So the more you practice something, just like I think back to wrestling in high school, the more that I practice those moves, the 2 double leg takedown,
absolutely,
the fireman's carry, all those different moves, the more natural it's going to come, and that's what you got to do when it comes to self defense.
No doubt about it. Like I said, in my opinion, in that video when I saw it, she wasn't necessarily doing anything wrong, but the most wrong thing that was going on there was the fact that criticism only works if you are smarter and more experienced than the person you're criticizing. Mm-hmm. Otherwise it's just a behavioral issue. But definitely, get intensely selfish when it comes to your well-being and your safety, because there's not a lot of people out there looking after you, especially if you're too busy with your job and life and kids and things like that. You got to really look out. And it's your job to do it. You're a human being. You live on the planet Earth, 7.5 billion people. There's a lot of unpredictable things that go on out there. We live in an age where there's just a shooting once a month, Yep. It's really terrible. So you've got to be intensely selfish when it comes to taking care of yourself, learning how to defend yourself, your family, and things like that.
It's crazy too. It's like you talk about the mental side of it too. There's social media now. There's all these different things. Had a bomb threat at my daughter's school last week.
Gosh.
All the silly stuff that happens, and it's
people are losing their minds. So definitely, you gotta keep those. It's true.
We got to wrap it up. I want to thank all of our expert contributors: Joe Harrison Martial Arts, Mario Larrea, MI Mutual Mortgage, and of course all of our listeners out there. Thanks for listening, tuning in on WeBeam TV as well, our TV show version of the program. And we want you to go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Pack up some food, carry it with you to and from your commute. Hand it to that person that you see in need. Be a force for good in the community. Follow us online at social media as well. Brandon Rhymes PA, Consumer Quarterback Show on Facebook, at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Twitter. and Instagram. We'll see you next time. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.